Welcome back to Awaken with Me, helping you become aware and empowered on all things health and wellness on your health and healing journey. Hi, welcome to Awaken with Me. Today we have guest Dr. Nancy, who spent 20 years as a professional air traffic controller, retiring from the world's busiest airport in Atlanta, Georgia, and has spent another 15 years overcoming its effects of stress for herself and her clients. Dr. Nancy has been a holistic doctor for 15 years and pre pandemic owned and managed her own wellness center, retreat home, and health store outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Since pandemic, Dr. Nancy has given easy access to her holistic lifestyle services online, virtually, through website, phone, or Zoom. So welcome, Dr. Nancy. It's good to have you on Awaken with Me. Can you start by telling us a little bit more about yourself and how you got started in coaching?
First, let me say thank you so much for having me. I just love what you're doing. It's so needed. Awakening with me, I think, is so relevant to what we all are, awakening in this day and time. And so, thank you really for having me. And I look forward to this. And so, how did I uh, get started into coaching? As you had mentioned earlier in my bio, I was an air traffic controller for 20 years, and during that time, I became sick. And
Mm-hmm.
just from the stress, you go in, you do your job, but however, it's just building, and then you can start to see the effects of it. And I walked away from it after 20 years and wanted to heal, become healthy, wellness, and ultimately wholeness. And so I opened up the places that you mentioned in my bio: wellness center, retreat home. And this is over a span of 15 years. I didn't really have them all at the same time. It was, it just progressed from a wellness center into, a cafe, a store, and retreat home. And so as I did that for 15 years, I had coaches and other people who were um, wanting to add this aspect of one-to-one coaching. I do a lot of one-to-one coaching because I think it's very, very effective for the client. It makes it very specific to their needs. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in doing that for 15 years, I had other coaches that started to come to me and ask me what were some of the ways that I helped my clients in that form. And so I started coaching them on that, and so that's how it's kind of evolved over the years. But ultimately, getting into health and wellness and becoming a holistic doctor was because I spent 20 years as an air traffic controller and ultimately had to come through my own self healing and wellness to be where I am today.
Do you mind sharing some of the symptoms that you or concerns that you were facing? Why you wanted to heal?
Absolutely. As I know now today, um, our body just really, when we get symptoms like headaches or we get backaches or these things start to manifest into sickness and disease like high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol, or any of those type of things, it's just a progression. And so I had a lot of symptoms. I had the ones that I just mentioned. Well, I didn't have the high blood pressure. Actually, my pressure is normally lower. However, I had a lot of other symptoms like sluggishness, fatigue. And here's the thing: I already was my first degree was in health and wellness and owning a wellness center out of college. And so it's always through my life been a part of my lifestyle a little bit. So I think that's how I was able to maintain a lot of my health during air traffic. However, it was the wholeness approach that I was missing, and I learned later that I needed. But I had leaky gut syndrome. uh, a lot of inflammation, prone to a lot of inflammation in the body that leads to a lot of other things like autoimmune diseases. And I know you focus in some of these areas, which I think is phenomenal because education and knowledge is really key to getting healthy. And so I had a lot of symptoms, and they weren't all the same at the same time. This was over building over, I say, the last 2 to 3 years that I was there. It was more progressive, and to the point that one day I went into the facility because the last 10 years I was doing air traffic. I was here at Atlanta, um, Jackson International Airport, and I just went in one day and said, hey, I've been struggling with something for the last several years, and it started to, I feel like, affect my me as a being. And so yeah, that was several of the symptoms I had, but they all changed at different times, but it ended up just, the thing was, it was a progression.
You mentioned your wellness center. So, what kind of, like, and even outside of that, like, what kind of work did you find helped you along your healing journey?
What I recognized over these years, um, I became a holistic doctor because I wanted to heal. And initially on my journey, I just thought about the physical aspects of who I am, like making sure nutrition. And this is what I say my degree was in, nutrition and exercise. And so I had that down pretty well. However, in the journey, I recognized that there was a different, I needed to take a more holistic approach to it. My mindset had to change, my habits had to change, my belief systems about who I am and what I wanted to create and the goals that I wanted to reach had to change. And so I actually, it's not on the market yet, but I just finished a book called The Five Pillars to Holistic Wholeness. And so the spiritual side is your belief systems, like I was just mentioning. Then it's mental clarity, having a mindset and that knowledge and understanding that you need. And then emotional intelligence. We go from emotional to logic, and those have to be within balance. And then the physical truths, like I was mentioning, nutrition and exercise, and the goals we have for ourselves, and the way that we outpicture ourselves in the world. And then there's also the relational side of us, how we relate to ourselves, our self-care, our self-love. And so as I began to grow in this area, just from the basics of having knowledge of nutrition and exercise, I realized I was missing so many more aspects of myself and even my environment. When I talk about physical truths in my book, it even talks about our environment that we live in our everyday things. So it's a holistic approach, and that's what I found over these years. And when clients come to see me in my wellness center, then it was about the holistic approach for them, because I knew that just giving nutrition and exercise wasn't going to be the thing that would be able to be life changing for them. And so that's why I also went into one-to-one coaching, is because that's how I could help to help a person on an individual basis take a holistic approach to their own lifestyle, because everybody's life is different, and everybody's dealing with different stresses, and everybody's dealing with different highs and lows. And so it gives me a chance, either a 4 week period of time or an 8 week period of time, to be able to get in and dig into where the roots are, that we need to change, and change habits in that period of time.
Lately, I see a lot of focus on healing, right? And that is often linked to how we eat and our diet. But with your approach, you have different levels. So where do you usually start? Like with all these things, like with food being and something that affects healing and the spiritual and all these other areas, like where does someone start, like basic, if they want to change or begin on a healing journey?
That's a great question, because when you look at it from a holistic approach and what I just said to you, it can seem overwhelming. And so I teach this virtual summit called Silencing Your Pain Points. And in each one of those areas I just spoke about, our belief systems, our mental clarity, our emotional intelligence, our physical way we look at eating and our habits of eating and our environment and relationship to ourselves and others, it's a constant balance. It's a constant balance when you know that those are the options. If you only think about nutrition and um, exercise, then that's all you're going to get, and all the rest of it could be out of order. So, but when you can take the whole approach to it and look at the balancing of these areas, and really what that means is just take a look in at it, just reflect on it from time to time to see what it is. And so when I was mentioning I teach this virtual summit called Silencing Your Pain Points, you look at your pain points in your life, and the pain point in your life is that thing that's screaming, that's out of control in your life, and that at that moment. And it can be your children, it can be your spouse, it can be your job, it can be you yourself when it comes to sickness and disease. But whatever's screaming at you, that's the thing that you have to say, hey, I need to look in on this, because until I silence this pain point, and I give you 5 steps to silence any pain point in your life, because as you move past these pain points in these different areas that we mentioned, then you start living the life that you desire. You start, one of the things as a coach that I do is I say, live your life by your design. I design my life. I love the days that I coach. I love the days that I actually have a market. I have a product line that I take to the market a couple of times a month. I love that. I love meeting the people, getting out. I love traveling. I love walking and hiking. So I love keeping a balance to my life. And if you have too many pain points in your life and not know how to really work through those details, then they can keep screaming, and they can keep screaming until it just manifests into something that seems really huge. Well, one-on-one coaching helps you to break it down so it simplifies in these areas, and you start silencing those things that are holding you back and keeping you from living, your dreams, your passion, your purpose. And we are supposed to be prosperous and healthy and wealthy, and so all of these things we're capable of having. We just have to know how to get them.
Yeah. Thank you. So when people come to you, whether it's at your wellness center or one-to-one coaching, like what are some of their main struggles that they want help with?
Some of the main struggles is three. Let me just mention 3 of the areas that I think a lot is common to a lot of people, and I want to show how it's connected holistically. So, like high blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol, they're all collected. They're all connected, and they're all a whole. They all have to be dealt with on a holistic approach. So high blood pressure is something where the body, the pressure that's going through the arteries and the heart pumping it is too much, and the blood pressure gets high. Well, it does that because of stress on the body. So if you're mentally stressed out, now this is the whole approach. If you're mentally stressed out, or you're emotionally stressed out, or you're physically out of shape, or all of these things, or have bad relationships with yourself and others, then your blood pressure is going to continue to be high, because we're not dealing with life things. So, and then there's a progression, meaning this: diabetes normally comes after that. And that's because diabetes is a sweet disease. It's about insulin, it's about pancreas, it's about these type of things. But it's also about living the sweetness of your own life. That's what that disease on a mental and emotional level is. And when you are not living your life in which you were created, and I find that, a lot of people do come to me. When you ask about why do people come to me, they come for these things, but they also always say, I want to walk in my purpose. I want to live and be who I was created to be. And when you don't feel like you're living that out, you're going to feel off balance in all of these approaches. So the one that I was mentioning, so diabetes is a sweetness disease. So high blood pressure is handling the pressures of life and stress. Diabetes is the flip side of that, where you yourself are living it and living the sweetness of life. And when you don't, diabetes on that level. But it also, of course, the sweets we eat and out of balance diet and all of that, well, that's all correlated to being happy and whole. And then cholesterol is one of those things. I never play with that with my clients. If they have gone through the three and then gotten to cholesterol, that's just one that is blockage. You have you have I'm looking at here on the screen with this as we're doing this podcast, and it has my name, and then it has it looks like when you have the heartbeats in a hospital, and then as you're silent, Nicola, yours is just like flat. And so, and then when you start talking, yours rises and mine goes flat. Well, when cholesterol hits, you're going flat if it's blockage. And that's where we don't want to get to. But if you notice and take care of the symptoms, that's the key. The body is just really telling you, you've got to do something different. You've got to see what I'm allergic to. You got to see what I individually like and what I don't, because this whole thing about nutrition and exercise, and another reason because coaching is so good is because it's specific to you. Everybody can't do what I do. Everybody can't do what you do. Everybody can't do what the next person can do. And we all have these things that, there's some great books out there. Eat according to your blood type. Eat. I mean, there's a lot of them. I don't follow those, but I think they're great. I have my own way of doing it, and that's what everybody has to find. They have to find and see what works best for them, and sometimes we need help with that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree so much with that. So I've kind of found you also like through your whole holistic products. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got started and what are some of them and how they help?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, I love them, first off. They've been part of my healing journey, honestly. As I became a holistic doctor, I became a holistic doctor because I just wanted to heal. I never meant to get, set out to get any degrees, but I find, even as an air traffic controller, you learn so you have to go to school and learn so much all the time. I said I was never going back to school. However, when my health started to fail, the first thing I did was know that I had to go back to school, because you got to learn more, the things that you don't know. And um um uh where was I? I'm sorry, where was I going with that? Can you repeat that question again? I'm sorry, I lost my thought
Oh,
there.
no, no worries. I was asking you about your holistic products and
Oh,
how you got started with that.
so yes, so the journey has been, so as I became a holistic doctor, one of the things that I loved myself and I actually went to school for was essential oils and botanicals. And I love stones, and it's just a different type of medicine to me. They're just more energetic field medicine. And so as I got involved with essential oils, which as they're one of the highest vibrations known to man. And this is kind of getting into the non-physical side of who we are. We have a physical side, we have a non-physical side, and both of them have to be kept in order. And so my product line comes from that. So I have a product, all natural product line that helps with arthritis, pain and inflammation, any type of back, hip and knee problems when it comes to ligaments, tendons, and joints. I have products for sciatica, shingles, and neuropathy, for shooting pain, numbness, and tingling. And my pain ones will work within 15 minutes of application. They start to help to heal the body. When you work out a lot, you're actually cutting the muscle, which builds the muscle up. But over months, over weeks and weeks and months and years of cutting that muscle and not building it up the right way, it will continue to deteriorate that muscle. And so my top performance athlete is for people who are athletic and do those type of things, because I was athletic when I was young and had a lot of ailments from just that doing what I just said. And then I have a line, so that's my physical natural line. Then I have a aromatherapy line that deals a lot with our non-physical side, and that is our chakra system. They are our non-physical organs, just like we have physical organs like the liver, the pancreas, the colon, and all of those are our physical organs. The chakra systems align us to our non-physical side. And so I have aroma therapy on my website that, like, the root chakra helps with stability. The second chakra helps with the senses and sensual senses, in the sense of how we smell, how we taste, how we feel. And then the third one is our power source. The heart chakra is for love. The throat chakra is to be able to speak our truth into the world and stand in our own truth and power, as it relates, for me, as it relates to God and the kingdom. And then being faith based. And then there's the third eye, to be made single, where we see that single kingdom alignment in that non-physical being of ourself. And then to awaken, like how, like what I was saying about your podcast, awaken with me. That is really the crown chakra. We are awakening together as a culture, society, and I mean this on a global scale, not just community, but globally. We are awakening, and so these aromatherapy chakra mist are to help you to align. They're like a supplement for your non-physical being, and they really do. When you take in the smells, it activates within your body.
When someone has a headache, they're going to take a Tylenol or some other pill. So I wonder about the difference between traditional medications like that and the holistic approach.
That's a great question. And I know that everyone is in their own place and how they feel about the different ones. This is just my perspective on it. Is I believe we need a holistic point of view, and I believe we need a medical point of view, and both of them collectively can help with the wholeness of the person. There's a time that we should go to the medical field to do what needs to be done, as far as, especially when it comes to, say, we're in an accident and we need to be stitched up or something like that. But then there's an approach where we have to do something for our own health and wellness and our own preventive measures. And so when a person is first starting out and all that they know probably is mostly medical, but they say, I want to take a more holistic, natural approach to it. That is the starting place right there, to want to do that. And when you know that you want to do something, it is about learning something that you don't currently know. And when you do that, it has to be consistent for you to get better at it. And so during the process, you still may go back and forth, but as you know more, you do more. As you know more, you become healthier, so you want to do more. And so this again becomes the holistic approach to it. Is, well, people come to me and say, I want to be vegetarian. And I say, are you a meat eater right now? And they say, yes. I said, well, our goal is to become vegetarian, if that's your goal and if that's what's most healthy for you. Because I believe that we're all individual, and I personally, for 13 years, was a vegetarian, and for 3 to probably 5 years of that was vegan. And currently I am eating fish and chicken to ground myself, So I don't stick to that law of you have to be this, because I know a lot of unhealthy vegans and vegetarians. So it becomes a holistic approach for me. Like I eat according to when I need to be in more my light body, be light, and be able to meditate in a more peaceful, and go more into my soul searching, and inner knowledge, and education. So everybody's different, but as you decide to take this holistic journey, because this is a journey. I was what you hearing me today, I was not this 15 years ago. When I opened my wellness center, I was sick. I left air traffic control because I was sick, and I was seeing my coworkers die and transition, and become sick, and stressed and pain, and I didn't want to take that road. And we don't have to. It's the determination in our mind, and then it's getting the help that we need. And again, that's why I said I do the one-on-one coaching, because everybody's unique. And so, if it is a thing about even getting off some medications, I even like for you to work with your doctor on getting off of them, because I can't take you off of your medicines, and your self-care is what's most important to you. So if you have a medical doctor and a holistic doctor, I think everybody needs both of those. And then when you're on medications, you can start eating right with me, and you can start detoxing your body. We can go over nutrition. I can teach you all the holistic approach. And then as you become better in your health and wellness, you go back to your doctor and you say, hey, I'm feeling better. I want to decrease my meds until I get off of them. And your doctor should be wanting you to be healthy and well. If you go to a doctor that doesn't want you to be healthy or well, then you need to find another medical doctor. And I just believe we both should be working side by side, because we have something as holistic doctors that people need, and they have something that people need as well.
Thank you for that. You mentioned something, like two things, like, looking at things at the individual level. And that's what I find myself like learning, like since I've been going through my own personal health situation, because society tells us that this generalized approach to eating, like, oh, a vegetarian or a meat eater. But no, like, you have to recognize what your body needs, for it to work. And that is so important. And the other thing you mentioned is preventative. And that's something that I've learned too, just going to these doctors and um, dealing with some frustrations, because a lot of the traditional approaches aren't preventative, they're curative. And, so like knowing those differences too, and knowing that the holistic approach kind of takes the more preventative measures. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it really does. You're absolutely right about that. And you're doing exactly as we heal and go through our things, we share just like you're doing today. So I mean, I just applaud you for that, because it's just sharing the knowledge on helping someone else to go through these things that we have gone through, and to just give them another perspective on that, to help them work through where they are. And it can get, I was frustrated by the end, and you were probably, it sounds like you were that way too, and you were just looking for something different to do that was going to give you some relief. And you get to a point where you just have to just keep looking, and not give up. A lot of people, when I'm at market a couple of weekends a month, and that's on my website. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. If anybody wants to join me there, you can go on my website and see that at bodysoulessentials.com. bodysoulessentials.com. Well, a lot of the people who come to my table initially, they're like, I've tried everything. And I say, well, I thank God that you came to this place because this is the last thing. That's how much I believe in my product line. And they were formulated because I did have, excuse me, I did have a wellness center for 15 years. And so I knew the needs of my clients. They didn't like peels. So my herbal ointments or rub on. It's just really finding those things here in order to get to your next level. Here's what here's one of the things when I'm coaching that I coach on in is if you want to get to your next level, you have to start with a solid foundation. You cannot build upon an unsolid foundation. And then when you find a solid foundation, you can't just knock the foundation down and build somewhere else and then find that. Let me just say what I mean by this. So I like to have the best products that I know are on the market. I know my products alone are the best products that I know when it comes to being able to overcome pain in the body. My products are the best at it. I know that. My aromatherapy is the best at it. The best that I know that exists. So that's a solid foundation for me. And until I know or know something better than that, I'm going to stay with that solid foundation. And too often, and even when I'm like, I have these supplements that I take, like a green, I think everybody should be on green supplements, but they're not all created equally. So when I'm speaking to my clients, I'm going to give you the best supplements that I know there are out there. So it's about my clients having the best that I know and to build on that. You can't build on a shaky foundation um, by just going over here trying that and going over here trying that. That's not going to be a sound foundation. In order to get to next level things and build, you have to keep building solid foundations, stand on them until you get to the next best thing with more knowledge, understanding, and walking in the wisdom of it.
Yeah, thank you. So now we're coming to a close. So is there one final thing that you have to share?
One final thing that I would love to share is um, I think as people get older, they think it's too late. I think if as people get older, they think it's too hard. Or I think as people get older, they feel I'm not qualified. I think all of these things go through people's mind and they're holding them back from being the best person that they could possibly be, to live in their passion, their purpose, to influence the world in their gifts and their talents. And I want to say it's not too late. It's never too late as long as you have breath in your lungs. I literally switched from being a air traffic controller, and that's a lifetime profession. And this holistic doctor is a lifetime profession. A lot of times we don't switch just like two main things and have success in both of them like that, but it can be done. I even, and then we just keep setting the goals. Like my next thing, I want my book to reach a lot of people, inspire a lot of people, help them with holistic wellness. Well, it's never too late, is what I really want to say. It's just never too late. Get the help that you need. I am available. Nicola, she's on her mission and doing what she's doing. So I'm sure she can help you in the area that she has the knowledge in. And if she doesn't have it, she'll refer you somewhere, just like I'll do the same if I don't have it. And start today. Just start today. I came from a place of sickness, of real sickness. I didn't get down into the grueling parts of it because that's not what this is about. But I want to say I'm on the flip side of it. I live a so much more peaceful life, a life by my design, and you can live the life by your design too. It's not about taking long, 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 long steps, and it's about inch by inch, day by day, moment by moment, moment by moment. And then you will get there. And so that's what I want to say. And if you need anything, you can reach out to me at bodysoulessentials.com. bodysoulessentials.com. There's blogs up there. You can start there. I have the blogs on holistic living, on detoxing, on nutrition. You can start there with just getting the knowledge. So thank you so much, Nicola. I truly appreciate you allowing me to be a part of your world today. And I wish you much success, blessed success in all that you do and where you're going from this moment on.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy. And thank you so much for being a guest today and sharing your information.
You're very welcome.
So today's learning outcome is that no matter where you are in your life and no matter what your symptoms are, it's never too late to start. You can take the reins into your own hands to start making that change on your healing journey. The journey might not be a simple one. So if you want to work with a coach, there are coaches out there like Dr. Nancy and myself who can help you along this journey. But the most important step is that you start. Thanks for joining us on today's podcast. If you haven't yet done so, hit the subscribe button for new content every 2 weeks. And be sure to visit my website, awakentoyourpassion.com, for more resources. Until next time, take care.